Greetings and welcome once again to What's Hot with Tranquility. I am your host, Pete Pardo, publisher of SOT. Today is Monday, November the 30th. Can you believe it? December is tomorrow. Anyway, so with December, we've got coming up our year-end festivities and best ofs and all that kind of stuff. We still have a lot of really good stuff that's been coming out over the last couple of weeks and still to be released. So we're going to get right into it today. We've got some really cool new releases, new worlds of heavy metal, progressive rock, some jazz fusion, classic rock, all that good stuff. So we're going to start our featured album of the day, or CD of the day, or of the week, whatever you want to call it. New wave of British heavy metal legends. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about Biff Byford and Company's Saxon. Battering Ram is their latest platter of metal mayhem. You are listening to it right now. I mean, what more can you say about a band like Saxon, who have just been enjoying this late career renaissance in the last few years? I mean, they have just been putting out some stellar, balls to the wall, pure heavy metal over the last decade or so. And this one is, no different. So, Saxon lately have been, when they put out releases, they generally come in these kind of cool digibook type things, loaded with photographs and lyrics and all that kind of great stuff. Mr. Paul Quinn is still hanging around with the band. There's Mr. Byford himself. I mean, it's just, the title track is just killer. It was actually just playing before we went on here. Each song is just anthem, just a heavy metal anthem. And I don't know what more else to say. Crunchy guitars, Biff still sounds great. It's just classic Saxon. And I mean, man, this band has so many really strong albums in their discography, and this is another one. So again, Saxon comes out with a new album, and it's bound to be featured on many best of the year lists, and no doubt this one as well. Seek it out, love it. It's great. We're gonna stick on metal for a while here. There's a lot of really cool stuff. So here's another release from the metal supergroup known as Death Dealer. It's called Hollow Ground. Check out that cool guy on the front there. Ross the Boss, ex-Manowar, Sean Peck, vocalist extreme from Cage. He also played in the recent project from Michael Denner and company, former Merciful Fate guys. We've got Steve Bolognese on drums. You got Stu Hammer Marshall, Mike Davis. I mean, this is just solid U.S. power metal. Forget all the kind of Dungeons and Dragons stuff in the European scene. This is just classic brutal riffage and screaming vocals. Ross the Boss is sounding fantastic on here. It's good to hear him playing some pretty serious stuff again. And it's just one track after another of bludgeoning power metal. Relentless speed and chugging riffs and blazing solos and histrionic vocals. I mean, what more can you ask for? So, Death Dealer, Hollow Ground, seek it out. I dig it. All right, progressive metal darlings, I guess you can call them that. Teramaze, Her Halo is their latest. This is really good. If you've been following Teramaze for a while, they do that prog metal thing. They throw in a lot of the gent elements, a lot of great instrumental dexterity, catchy vocals. It's kind of all here on this latest. I find this one a little bit more song-based, so there's less and less of the prog metal noodling, a little more heavier riffs, catchier vocal passages, great melodies. I really like this a lot. I think this band has really grown up a lot over the years. Yeah, they can still wow you with their instrumental brilliance, but more importantly, they're really learning how to write catchy songs. So I like this one a lot. I think most prog metal fans will cite this as one of their favorites of the year. It's well deserved. So, Teramaze, be on the lookout. I'm going to switch over to Epic Doom, or Doom, classic rock meets Doom. I don't know how to kind of describe these guys, but it's Avatarium, The Girl with the Raven Mask, their sophomore release, full length anyway. And this is Leif Edling from Candlemass, along with a bunch of other folks, including the wonderful vocalist, who of course name is escaping me at this moment. Her name is Jenny Ann Smith. She is just wonderful. These tracks are just steeped in big, booming, doom-laden riffage and analog keyboards and soaring female vocals, epic arrangements. I mean, you know, if you love like vintage Black Sabbath and Candlemass, but also Rainbow and Deep Purple, as well as some like kind of folk rock stuff, it's kind of all here. I thought their debut was one of the best releases of a couple years ago. I think this one is even better. It's a little more dynamic, it's a little more varied, but easily one of the top 10 or so releases this year. I think this band potentially could be huge. Jenny's voice is just so pleasing. So alluring. I mean, I don't know what more to say about these bands. You need to experience these. It's quite epic. Like I said, it's varied, it's textured, it's heavy, it's progressive in spots. Avatarium, latest Nuclear Blast. All right, another band, kind of like Saxon, although haven't been around as long, who have just been really, really steady and just really consistent. And I'm talking about Zach Stevens, Sabotage vocalist. His band Circle to Circle. This is Reign of Darkness. You know, if you love that early 90s Sabotage sound, which I know many metal fans do, Sabotage is like a really special band for a lot of people, including myself. And Zach, when Sabotage kind of splintered, I mean, they never officially broke up. They've been inactive for a long period of time. They just played at the Wacken Festival. But Zach kind of took that Sabotage style, formed his own band, Circle to Circle. He's had kind of like a lot of different musicians coming in and out of the band over the years. But, you know, every release is just really, really solid U.S. power metal with little progressive slants here and there. Just really classic metal sounds. Beefy guitars, great solos, Zach's wonderful vocals, catchy melodies. You know, it's all there. I really dig this one a lot, although I've really loved their last bunch. I don't think they've ever released a bad album. Circle to Circle, Reign of Darkness. Be on the lookout for it. So we're going to kind of stick in the sort of Sabotage camp here. So this is just hot off the press, is brand new. Just got this. It's the latest from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's called Letters from the Labyrinth. Look at that cool, you know, cover artwork. All sorts of cool stuff in there. You know, so we've got a lot of the current, former Sabotage folks. You know, Chris Caffrey and company. They're all kind of taking part in this. Albatrelli and various vocalists. This one is less of a kind of holiday thing, you know, with song titles like Prometheus and Prince Igor, The Night Conceived, Forget About the Blame, Not Dead Yet, Not the Same, Lullaby Night, Past Tomorrow, Who Am I, you know, Madness of Men. It's a little more epic, less kind of happy holiday theme type thing. You know, I think some folks who really, really, really like the holiday stuff that TSO has put out in the past may have a little hard time getting into this. It's definitely heavier than some of their past releases. There's a huge Sabotage influence in this one. But I think it's still, at its roots, it's TSO. You know, maybe if you like the Beethoven's Night release. Definitely very, very good. I know they're going to be playing selections of this out on tour this year, so be sure to go check them out live at a venue near you this holiday season. I think the tour started about 2-3 weeks ago. So, Letters from the Labyrinth, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. All right, so we're off the metal stuff now, so let's kind of change gears a little. We're going to go to hard rock, sort of a little bit of metal. It's the latest from Voodoo Circle called Whiskey Fingers. Of course, this is the band fronted by David Redman from Pink Queen 69, as well as Alex Bayrat, lead guitarist in Primal Fear. Matt Sinner, bassist vocalist from Primal Fear, is also on board. They've got a new keyboard player and drummer, but they haven't lost any steam at all. So if you've loved their kind of modern take on the classic Whitesnake, Deep Purple, and Rainbow sound, it's ever present here. You know, great hooks, chugging rhythms, bluesy swagger, blistering guitar work, David Coverdale-inspired vocals. I mean, you know, I'm a huge Whitesnake fan, so I love these guys. I would say, you know, their previous album, which came out in 2013, for me, was just absolutely incredible and perfect top to bottom. This is not quite as perfect. I think the first half of the CD is exceptional. Second half loses a little steam, but overall it's still a super, super album of kind of classic hard rock sounds and styles, and I really like it a lot. I think if you like their previous albums, you're going to love this one as well. Like I said, may not be the pinnacle of the Voodoo Circle canon so far, but it's up there. It's damn good, and I highly recommend it. All right, so we're going to kind of switch over to a little Southern rock, a little American country, Americana country, Southern rock, hard rock. I don't know. The band's called 1,000 Horses, called Southernality. This came out earlier this year. They've had a big hit on kind of country rock radio with the single Smoke, but the rest of the album is kind of like a mix of like Black Crowes meets Lynyrd Skynyrd meets Florida Georgia Line. Great hooks, really cool hooks. If you like that kind of modern Southern rock / country rock thing, these guys are really, really good. They're a 4-piece. A lot of great melodies on here. I can see this band being pretty damn big. They rock out a bit more than some of your modern country, bro bands, whatever you want to call them. But really good guitar work. Like I said, they got a bit of Black Crowes and they got a little Skynyrd, a little bit more of a ballsy Florida Georgia Line. So I like this. Good stuff. Check it out. So back when I was a little guy, one of the first, after, initially I was, Kiss is kind of the band that turned me on to rock and roll, and turned me on to heavy music. But for a couple of years, I started really getting into some really good, mellower bands at the time, more pop, like the Eagles and Paul McCartney Wings and the Electric Light Orchestra. Huge fan of the Electric Light Orchestra, Jeff Lynne and company, and I still am to this day. So, as you know, that band basically broke up in the late 80s. Jeff started a solo career. He kind of resurrected the ELO name in 2001 with the album Zoom, which I kind of liked. Didn't think it was great, mainly because most of the orchestral bits were gone. So it's basically Jeff playing like a million instruments, bringing a lot of guests in, and, kind of sounding like Jeff Lynne's solo album, or maybe some of the stuff he did with the Traveling Wilburys or George Harrison. Well, now we are 14 years later, and he's once again resurrected the ELO name. It's called Jeff Lynne's ELO, Alone in the Universe. This time out, it's basically just Jeff playing all the instruments. His daughter guests on backing vocals on a couple tracks, but basically it's just Jeff. I mean, I like this. It's good. A few of the songs remind of vintage ELO. Some of the stuff kind of sounds like Lynne's solo material, or maybe the kind of material he worked on with George Harrison before he passed away. So it's all good. It's all pleasant. I'm still missing those strings. There's a couple tunes on here where, using keyboards, he's kind of trying to recreate that sound. But for the most part, it's all pretty laid back. The hooks are great. His vocals are great. There's actually some tasty guitar work on here. There's some nice keyboards and spots. I also miss Bev Bevan's thunderous drumming. Jeff handles all the drums here. It's, he does a good job, but it ain't Bev Bevan. So, solid, enjoyable. Is it going to make you forget, Out of the Blue and Discovery and, Face the Music, Face the Magic, Face the Music, Face the Magic, Face the Magic, Face the Music. All those classic albums from the 70s, El Dorado. No. But, it's on par, I guess, with Zoom, and, stacking up against their 80s albums, it's not too bad. So I like it. I knew I was going to like it, but is this, classic ELO? It is good, though. If you like him, you like the band, I think you'll dig it. Speaking of old-time bands, so everybody remember the great Wishbone Ash, who are still around. Andy Powell's still fronting the band and, carrying on the tradition. Well, Martin Turner was founding bassist, vocalist, who officially left the band in the late 80s. He's had a very sporadic kind of solo career. He's done some kind of shows over the years where he's played the vintage Wishbone Ash material with different musicians. Well, now he's back solo. This is called Martin Turner, founding original member of Wishbone Ash. It's called Written in the Stars. On here, he's got some folks that he's been playing with for a number of years. And, it's very classic Wishbone Ash sounding. So, you got the current version of Wishbone Ash with Andy Powell, also has roots in the classic sound. And then you got Martin Turner, who comes back with a album really strong, really, really strong. Lots of dueling twin guitars, great melodies. It's bluesy, it's jazzy, it's proggy, it's bits of hard rock. Martin's still singing pretty good. I like this. I like it a lot. So, and I'm not a big Andy Powell fan, so of course I've always been kind of siding with his camp here. But then this comes along, and I'm like, I like it a lot because I'm a big Wishbone Ash fan. So it's good. It's good. So another guy, here we go. We're talking about a lot of guys who have been around forever. So almost all of you know the great Texas band called ZZ Top. Well, main man and lead guitarist, hotshot guitarist, Billy Gibbons, he's got a new release out called Perfectamundo with his band called the BFGs. A little mixed on this one. I think, he's obviously not trying to do the ZZ Top thing. I appreciate that. So what he's done here is he's adopted kind of a lot of kind of Latin rhythms. There's bits of hip-hop on here, kind of strange. Some blues, some jazz. Guitar-wise, he still sounds great. So every tune, no matter what the kind of rhythmic feel of it, has got his, blistering, gutsy guitar work and his gravelly vocals. There's a lot of studio trickery going on here, and, a lot of the kind of drum machine crap that I didn't like about some of that 80s ZZ Top stuff. But, it's pretty catchy. I'm going to have to get used to this. I've only had this a few days, a couple listens in, and, some of the hip-hop stuff I could do without. I don't mind the kind of Latin-y stuff, the Caribbean rhythms and things like that. I think that's kind of fun, something different from them. And the guitar work is excellent as always. So, it's going to take some getting used to. But I'm a big Billy fan, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to keep at it and see if it really resonates with him. On the video front, we've got the latest Eagle Rock release, and it's a good one. This is Queen, A Night at the Odeon from 1975, okay? So A Night at the Opera, freshly released, okay? The band is taken off beyond belief. And they played a headline show at the famed Hammersmith Odeon. And here it is on SD Blu-ray. SD means standard Blu-ray. Quality, this is terrific. I mean, considering how old this footage is, terrific. The sound is awesome. Pop this in your home theater system on your Blu-ray player and crank it up. I mean, this is great. The band is rampaging good. Now I'm here, Ogle Battle, White Queen, a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody mixed in with Killer Queen, March of the Black Queen, one of my personal favorite Queen tunes. Brighton Rock, a long Brian May guitar solo, Son and Daughter, Keep Yourself Alive, Liar, and The Lap of the Gods Revisited. The 50s medley. It's all here. You've also got a bonus documentary where they're talking with some of the members of the band about the show, looking back on it, and then you've got 3 tracks from the same tour, but earlier in the year, because the Hammersmith show was recorded on Christmas Eve. Earlier in the year, in May, at the Budokan in Tokyo, Japan. So you've got kind of the footage is a lot rawer. It's not as pristine as the Hammersmith show. Now I'm here, Killer Queen, and The Lap of the Gods Revisited. So it's pretty cool. So highly recommend this. Along with the Live in the Rainbow Blu-ray that came out earlier this year, must-have Queen video for every Queen fan. Gotta love the old stuff. I mean, it's just, I love all Queen, but that old stuff is just absolutely breathtaking. And it's heavy. This is Queen at their rockin' early heavy metal best. So anyway, let's get off of the new stuff. Last feature of the day is, of course, Forgotten Favorites. We're going to go all the way back to 1970 here, and a band I've been spending a lot of time with lately. And here's an album that's been pretty maligned in their history, but I think it's one of their kind of really interesting albums, really different, and one that's aged pretty well, I think. More so, I've enjoyed it more so now than I did many, many years ago, and that's Lizard. This is the Steven Wilson remix that came out a couple years ago. I mean, it's dynamite, so you got the whole album in, remixed, and then on DVD in various formats to just crank up on your home theater system. But, this was an album, a band in transition. Fripp basically, the original lineup broke apart. He brought in a bunch of jazz musicians, and the album is very jazzy. It's not commercial sounding at all. You got Yes's John Anderson singing lead vocals on the title track. You've got Gordon Haskell, bass player and vocalist, singing on the rest of the album. You got Mel Collins on flute and sax, Andy McCulloch on drums. You got Nick Evans on trombone, Keith Tippett on piano, electric piano, Robin Miller oboe, Mark Chang on cornet. You got the lyrics written by Peter Sinfield. It's just, there's some really interesting material on here. Circus has got that ominous mellotron, and, the sax and indoor games and Happy Family are both pretty playful and very jazzy. Lady of the Dancing Water. It's just I find a really, really interesting album. Really, really different. And, like I said, as a bonus on the DVD, you got all sorts of fun stuff in different formats for you to just take advantage of your home theater system. So this is my forgotten favorite of the week. It's not an album that most people who are, even remotely familiar with King Crimson ever talk about, but it's one I've always liked. And with Steven Wilson's remix from a few years ago, it sounds even better. So that's our forgotten favorite of the week. Tune in next week where we'll unearth another gem from the past that probably never got it to do, as well as lots of brand new releases as we count down the end of the year and get ready for our top picks of the year, which we'll have right before Christmas time for you. So I'll give you my top 12 of 2015. Top 12 for 12 Days of Christmas. That's how I'm kind of doing it, as well as some great honorable mentions. So we'll see you then. For now, be safe. Make sure to investigate a lot of the new music that's out there, but don't forget the classics. Take care. See you next week.